And I would like to welcome some people from Jarrott Productions. Dave Jarrott is a fellow who has been involved in many different tasks over his many years. And I better turn on your microphone there.
Oh, okay.
Yes. We just found out Dave turned 75. I cannot believe it. But anyway, Dave is this production company, and they do plays over at the Trinity Street Theater. But you could be somewhere else sometime. I don't know. But they're over there these days. And the play that they're doing is called The Niceties by Eleanor Burgess. And tell us something about it, Dave.
I'll let Jeremy, our director, tell you a little bit more about the storyline. I'll tell you that I came across this play about not even a year ago. Mm-hmm. It was suggested to me, and it's originated about 3 years ago was the first performance, and it's being done all around the country now, regionally. And when I read the play, I thought, this is one we must do. The ideas that are presented there and the challenges are really very unique and something that I felt was right in our wheelhouse at Jarrott Productions. And so I latched onto it immediately and thrilled to be able to present it here. It's, as I say, being done around the country in many regional theaters. This is, to my knowledge, the first production in Texas. Mm-hmm. And it's just a brilliant play. And speaking of birthdays, our director is celebrating his birthday today.
Well, happy birthday.
And yes, Jeremy Rashad Brown is also 75. He looks so young.
I don't think so. But he does have a beard.
Yes, that's right.
With a bit of gray in it as well.
Is there some gray in there? I don't see it.
There is gray all up and through this. I just know how to hide it well.
So you really are 75.
I really am.
Okay.
Not true. All three of these people together don't make that, I don't think.
Okay, so let's hear from Jeremy about the play. What is this play about?
Well, hello, John. It's nice to be here, and thank you for having us on. Yes, my name is Jeremy Rashad Brown, I'm director. The play is about basically this older white college female professor who is at this esteemed college in the Northeast, is having office hours with her younger black female student, Zoe, and the college professor's name is Janine. And so they're just having a discussion. It starts out really nice, with pleasantries, gentle disagreements, and then things happen and things are said that you can't necessarily take back. And so it's a nice microscope that's put on their conversation that's a broader type of issue or issues, because this is a super layered play that deals with generational gaps, racial blind spots, and things of that sort. And pretty much thing to say about this is the inherent bias in historical, just education and history in general. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice little dissection, if you will, of, basically what America is today. Right. And what we're dealing with.
So the playwright is an American?
Yes, she is.
And are you based in Austin yourself?
I am. I'm an Austin-based artist.
Okay. Glad to have you. And so you directed this play, and so let's hear a little bit from the play. We've got a couple of actors with us. Francesca Christian, who plays the instructor.
Yes.
And at a well-established Eastern university. Is that the idea?
Yes.
One of those old ones up there in the Massachusetts area.
That's exactly right.
Okay. And your young student is played by Jacqui Calloway.
Good morning.
Good morning. So let's have a little bit of the play.
Awesome. Of course. So the parallelism, the footnotes, more flair in the evidence, and then I hand it back in?
Actually, these comments were more about writing than argument. I like to offer very thorough comments purely on writing for 3 pages. Most teachers in this Gothic pile don't see that as part of their job, to teach any practical skills. I'm glad you brought this in early. I can see you've done an impressive amount of work on it.
Yeah, well, I tend to get a little intense about fulfilling requirements. Only child, it's weird. You don't get to graduate from being an only child to being an only adult.
True. I wish you hadn't plowed ahead like this, written the full draft without getting comments on the thesis.
I was just excited to lay out the ideas.
I'm afraid you're in for quite a substantial rewrite. Your argument is fundamentally unsound.
Unsound?
A successful American Revolution was only possible because of the existence of slavery?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. The whole idea came out of your lecture on how most revolutions have two phases. There's the initial moderate revolution led by the upper middle class people. And they make moderate constitutional changes, but they don't help the people who are really suffering. They don't do anything about economic inequality, real injustices.
Yes, that's mostly.
And
yes.
so new leaders with broader popular support take over in a second radical revolution. The moderates and the radicals can't agree, and so revolutions usually turn into violent, drawn-out conflicts, basically civil wars. That's what happened in France, in Russia, in Mexico, in China with Mao overthrowing the nationalists. That's what you talked about in class.
Yes.
Is any part of that wrong?
No.
But in the U.S., the people who were really suffering, who would have become radicals, were the slaves. And everybody else, upper middle class white people and poor white people, were pretty happy with the way things were. That's why the U.S. never had a radical revolution. It stopped in the moderate phase and had one of the most unified, non-destructive revolutions of all time.
Is this a theory that you read somewhere? Is there a book that... What I'm trying to say is that the evidence from this period doesn't fit. You're saying that if there hadn't been slavery, poor whites would have pushed for radical economic change. But that doesn't hold up. Even in colonies like New Hampshire and Massachusetts, where slaves made up less than 2% of the population, there was no serious discussion of economic reform. Unlike France, there was no famine, no crisis. Read the letters, the diary entries. This was long before Karl Marx. The idea of democracy already felt huge and exciting and terrifying to these people. More radical change just wasn't on the table, with or without slavery.
Well, I found sources that said different.
And the Jarrott Productions of the play by Eleanor Burgess called The Niceties is going on at the Trinity Street Theater by the Baptist Church.
It's in the First Baptist Church on the 4th floor
Right.
at 9th and Trinity. And we open on January 16th, run 3 weeks only through February 2nd. And you can get more information at www.jarrottproductions.com.